First, I would like to address Mr. Bakar. Actually, you are not sitting in my order, so Dr. Yeah, it's okay because Mr. Jansi is not here. I will start with Adila. Miss Adila, may I start with you since she's come in place of Mr. Shafiq Shazad, and we're very happy that you're here with us today. She has graduated from MIT and is a valuable World Bank scholar. She has lots of experience, diverse experience in very many areas, and very, yeah, okay. So let's start straight away. The question that we're looking for is, CPEC will enhance Pakistan's connectivity, not only with China, but with Central and South Asia and beyond. It will expand bilateral and regional trade, promote economic integration, and foster economic development. Having said this, we would like your perspectives on this. So
thank you very much for inviting me and asking the question. Yes, CPAC, in fact, it's the metaphor which is created in Pakistan. It's called a Marshall Plan for Pakistan. It's more than connectivity between countries through roads, ports, and also it's going to have socio-economic impacts as well. For example, if we just see, we have a lot of discussion on the exports of Pakistan. If we just see two countries, China and Afghanistan, we have untapped potential of $10 billion transit trade with Afghanistan, which can be done because we're going to have a motorway from Kabul to Peshawar during this CPAC project. Also, if we see the China is importing, it's importing $13 trillion from the world. It has recently been the largest exporter as compared to the importer, as compared to the US. So there is a potential, and from Pakistan there are not as much exports going to China. But if we see in the larger perspective of the world, it's not only that the fully manufactured exports are important. The importance is that somewhere we are going to get into the value chain. And for that we have to get a lot of imports as well, not only the exports. So I believe the CPAC is going to be a game changer. We recently, you see our cotton crop field. We need almost 15 million bales, but we could not produce that much. And we have to import it from Central Asian states. And for that we need Afghanistan. Good relationship with Afghanistan, and also CPAC project is going to develop those roads and ports, and also we have social and economic impacts, I believe. So if we just see, like a lot of our exports are dependent on cotton, if we could import it from Central Asian states, and the process not only of exports but import is also important for us, so I believe. Secondly, I believe this is going to make our economy open up. Recently, you have seen the competitiveness report that shows that Pakistan, though it did not fare well, it came on 104th number. But one thing, there is a good news. Like we are in market size 30th, which is kind of like all around the world we are 30th. And market size is not only your market size, but the countries you are related to, countries to which you have the access. So through this CPAC project, I foresee that we're going to have market access and also the market size, which is going to bring a lot of investment in Pakistan. And coming back to the metaphor of Marshall Plan, if you see in the World Forum, none of the development program ever succeeded except that Marshall Plan. And the reason was that we have in that Marshall Plan strong institutions. So to make it successful, CPAC in Pakistan, we need the strong institutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll pick up a question later on and refer it to in the context of what Dr. Irfan had said about maybe we are limited because we're just exporting raw material and then importing manufactured goods. So keep that with you and we'll come to it later. Dr. Jawad Saeed, thank you for being here with us today. He's a professor of organizational behavior and leadership at LUMS, and his main areas of interest are international human resource management, diversity management, organizational knowledge, leadership, and business ethics. He has done his PhD from Macquarie University and completed the postgraduate in higher education at the University of Kent. Prior to that, he was at the Western Sydney University. He's program co-chair of the European Academy of Management, and it's very, very impressive the amounts of articles and books that he has written in this area. We look forward to reading some of them. Thank you very much for being with us here today. My question to you is, could you please throw some light on the role and need of cooperation among business schools in China and Pakistan to support the Belt and Road Initiative, including CPEC? I'll just pick up from what Mr. Robin had said about focusing on the resource development to keep up with this change as well. You'll have to continue.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rubina, for this introduction. I'm humbled and embarrassed, but still I would like to offer my 2 cents. Needless to say that CPEC, which is the part of the Greater Belt and Road Initiative, initiated by the President of China a few years ago, is of immense interest and significance to Pakistan and the South Asian region and beyond. Just for the recap, I know that the conference has been happening for the past 1.5 days now. Say if we are looking at $55 billion investment, 36 of that would go to energy, 10 have been earmarked for investment in railways, and 6 have been earmarked for roads, and approximately $1 billion for the water port development, and then a fraction for fiber optics. So yes, all of this would need support. All of that would need support not only in technological and economic terms, but also in terms of human resources and cultural support. The word which is often used by our Chinese friends, whether they are academics, whether they are government policymakers, or whether they are in private businesses, the word which they often use is connectivity. That connectivity is the single major descriptor for CPEC, a Belt and Road in general. So when we talk about connectivity, we have to continue to remind ourselves that connectivity is not just the connectivity via railways and via roads or via logistics. We are also talking about connectivity which is cultural. So connectivity would have 2 forms, economic connectivity and cultural connectivity. And that is where there is a great deal of responsibility, not only on the shoulders of government policymakers, not only on the shoulders of business men and women and entrepreneurs, but also our academics within universities and particularly in business schools. Almost 18 to 24 months ago, Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, they took a major initiative when they brought 8 business schools, 8 leading business schools from Pakistan and 8 leading business schools from China, and developed a consortium of business schools in China and Pakistan in order to create the infrastructure of skill development and human resource development to support CPEC and DRM projects. Later on, this whole consortium was expanded from the business schools to universities. So now the consortium which is being taken care of by the Higher Education Commission comprises 8 universities from China and 8 universities from Pakistan. A number of sessions have been conducted within Pakistan and also in China. Different Chinese universities, they have also taken an initiative in that direction. Last year, I had an opportunity to attend a similar session at Lanzhou, organized by a regional university in China with major participation from our friends and colleagues, not only in Pakistan and wider South Asia, but also China and Southeast Asia and Central Asia. So quite a few things are happening, and I think that I can take this opportunity to update you and the audience in terms of what exactly is currently happening. Very briefly, I can share that at LUMS last year we initiated a center which is called China-Pakistan Management Initiative, which has a specific focus on developing executive education programs as well as academic courses which could support managers and business leaders who we are expecting that they will engage in CPEC related projects. So that is one thing. Our executive education program with a focus on executive development for CPEC would be available later by the mid of next year, by the mid of 2019. With a consortium of professors, one of my colleagues at Taiwan Normal University, National Normal University, and one colleague at Tsinghua University, I'm myself editing a book. In fact, I was having a discussion with Professor Irfan Haider a few minutes ago that this book is being published by Paul Griff Macmillan, and we have a consortium of at least 15 professors from China, Pakistan, Taiwan, and other parts of the world who are contributing to this. So that would also be our humble contribution to the field of cooperation within business schools and within universities in order to support the BRI projects and CPEC projects. To cut a long story short, and to sum it up all what I wanted to say, that look, our connectivity would be two-pronged. It would be economic connectivity and it would be cultural connectivity. Connected to this, and given that I'm also interested and active in the field of business ethics, with respect to CPEC projects, there is also a major issue of transparency and ethical conduct. So therefore, we have to understand that what are the specific corporate governance regimes and regulations within Pakistan and China, to what extent do they coincide and to what extent there are variances. So that has to be clearly looked into. We also have to understand that Confucian ethics, for example, which is prevalent in parts of China, how we could benefit from our understanding of Confucian ethics. But at the same time, we also have to understand that how there are certain elements within Islamic business ethics and the South Asian business ethic norms, which may coincide with, which may overlap with certain elements within Confucian ethics. In Pakistan, we have, for example, a major emphasis on connectivity approach, understanding each other. Similarly, we have similar concepts in China. Guanxi is one of those concepts. So we have to understand that how Guanxi's positive aspects can be better understood and utilized. And if there are any adverse implications of Guanxi or Sifarish in Pakistan, how those could be overcome and addressed. So these were a few submissions from my side. If there are any further thoughts which came to us during the panel, I would be happy to make a contribution.
Very valid insights, especially about corporate governance, keeping up with this effort and the changes that we need to see out there. You mentioned about that. In this context, I would like to also appreciate the social index that China has, and maybe something of that, if it filters through into our country and our setup, it would help a lot. So that's very valid point. Picking up from that, culture is very important, and you pointed that out. So I would like to take it to Dr. Barry to give his insights into, especially regarding culture. He has very interesting insights and views. Dr. Barry has a PhD in Commerce from University College Cork Island and has lectured in China and at two universities, Harvard Institute and Tsinghua University. He has developed an extensive background in research methodologies, governance, and in the postmodernist discourse term. At the moment, he is with the UMT, and we are very happy that you're with the UMT. At the same time, we're happy you're here to share your views. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a great honor to be here. I'm delighted I have the SMEDA and everybody here providing a few thoughts. I'm going to compare my country, Ireland, and Pakistan. Very general. So let me make the comparison first. Ireland struggled with a conflict for about 30 years. Although it was low-key compared to the Afghan conflict, but it spilled over into Ireland. It took resources, it prevented foreign direct investments from coming in. We struggled an awful lot. We had an opportunity in 1973 to join the EU. We did. It was the best thing that we ever did. It was an opportunity that we took and we grasped. We had terrible mistakes, we made terrible mistakes, we lost many things, but we gained many things. Your country will change. CPEC will change Pakistan, like all connectivity. When you open up, expect change. That's the first point I'd like to say. It is something that will happen to you gradually, something that will happen not overnight. And for many people who are sitting in the room, like me and the illustrious panel here, it is not for us to see the change. It's perhaps for the people who are sitting at the back, the students. And even for them, it's probably not for them too. It's their children. It's a generational thing. So you must accept that if you're entering into the CPEC and you're entering into opening up, and you're looking forward to developing in a industrial, in a technological world, in a globalized world, then you're going to have to open up a bit further and accept those things. And the second point I want to make is that China. I taught in China for a number of years. Chinese people are hard-working. I have friends who would work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. They understand that it's not for them that they're working for. They're working for their next generation. They have a family orientation, which is very similar to Pakistan. It's about family. They would sacrifice themselves so that their next generation will succeed. And if you look at China, when I arrived in China in 2008 for a short visit, I went to Beijing. I went to the cultural hub of Beijing, which is called the Beihai Hutong. Very beautiful place. But it reminded me, when I came to Lahore, how the Beihai Hutong in 2008 was very similar. You had cottage industries, little cottage industries. People working out of the front shops, making beds, making windows, cutting, sawing, and everything like that. If you go to Beihai Hutong now, it's full of retail. You have all the big shops, all the big designer shops are there. It has changed fundamentally. The people who worked in those shops understood that if I worked hard, I would send my kids to school. I would send my children to university. It is for them that I will sacrifice, that I will work in the shop. So we can talk all day here about CPEC now. It is not, it's a thought, it's not an idea. My advice is for you, as the young people of Pakistan, is to go out, grab it. That's what the Irish did. We didn't wait for China to come to us. We didn't wait for the French, the Germans. We didn't wait for the Europeans to come to us. We went to them. We went out. We failed. Many failures. Expect failures. Our universities changed. Instead of thinking about what we call factory fodder, just getting people to work in the big American companies, we changed. We taught them transferable skills. That's a very important thing. I watched the recent panel that was talking about the research, and they were talking about entrepreneurial. There's no such thing as an entrepreneur. Or teaching it. You can't teach it. It's not something that is, you can say, well, if you follow A, B, and C, you'll get there. It's about using the skills that you already have and the motivation to go up to do. So my advice to all the people in Pakistan is don't wait. Don't go inshallah. It's no good. You have to go out and do it. Go to the universities in China. Apply to them. Go to the summer schools. Chinese people are nice people. They're fair people. They're good people. You have much in common. to be honest with you, you will find more in common than you would find in disagreement with many people. The last point I'd like to make is something that I'm doing at the moment. I'm researching trust levels among the political elite and the business elite of Pakistan. And the problem that I'm seeing, I'm getting moments of saturation there, is that I'm collecting data now that's repeating itself. And most of the people that I interview and analyze in discourse analysis are getting an understanding that the trust is rational. They understand that CPEC is a win-win. That's an easy thing to grasp. The next step is experiential trust. You must meet people. You must go out and experience. You must shake someone's hand. You must sit down and have a meal with them. You must do it. And then the institutional trust. Then you can build the institutional trust. But I think what's happening is that you're going the other way. You're trying to form these institutions, and there's no one going out of Pakistan. You're bringing them in, you're saying, this is it, lovely, it looks lovely on paper, but there are big white elephants at the moment. You have to fill them with these people behind you, not us. We shouldn't be doing it. I'm tired. I'm going to stay here for a while and do a bit more research. It's the students who should do it. So those are my points. But expect to change. Pakistan will change. China will change too.